Welcome back to my channel, guys. Sorry that I delayed the video because I had a lot of homework to do. So, I delayed the video, but the video's coming out today. So, I'm still doing the collab with Anime Camp. So, I'm doing the first part and he's doing the second part. And yeah. With that out of the way, on to the intro. So, Deku, we go back to, Deku basically, finding, Ingenium's body, because we're gonna say that, Stain actually killed him. And, we're gonna say that, Stain has the construction alchemy, and you find more about that later on in the story. So, So in the battle with Ingenium, Ingenium was faster than in the original, so he went at Stain, almost kicking him. However, Stain touched Ingenium's face with his deconstruction alchemy, and he disfigures him, stunning him, leaving Stain enough time to kill him. The reason why he didn't kill him when, he was using this deconstruction alchemy, it's because, that deconstruction alchemy isn't really complete yet, so, it's not strong enough to destroy, destroy stuff for real. So, that happened, and Ingenium's dead. So Deku sees Ingenium's dead body, and he basically goes and reports this to the heroes, and either catches winds of this, or he knows about it now. So he basically goes he basically runs to he goes to check up on Ingenium, because because of Ingenium just dying, there's lots of confusion. So he goes and, checks up at Ingenium to see if he's okay or not. And basically, we're gonna go to the, sports festival. So, Al has been, tasked with, watching, or, basically watching the sports festival with, by himself. And if anything goes wrong, anything goes wrong, he has to, fix it. So, so basically, Bakugo and Todoroki are fighting, and because that Deku wasn't there and didn't make Todoroki use his fire, Endeavor is ridiculing Todoroki even more, because, we're gonna say that Bakugo took first place 2 times in a row in the race and the cavalry battle. So, yeah. because he's a lot more common now that Deku, like, he didn't know Deku in his life. So, and the reason why he was so mad was because he thought that Deku was pitying him and stuff like that. So, he's a lot more calmer and he thinks more rationally. So he got first place in both the race and the cavalry battle. So now, like, in the tournament, like, Todoroki's even more angry because his father is bothering him and ridiculing him even more of not using his fire side and failing to get first place 2 times. So Todoroki is throwing ice at Bakugo over and over again. And Bakugo is using his explosions to propel him out of the way, and he blasts Todoroki with his one of his best explosions and most powerful, like one of his most powerful explosions, and it explodes most of the ice that's in the arena, as he basically, Todoroki basically makes kind of like an like stairs of ice as he walks on it and moves to the other side of the arena as Bakugo is propelling his explosions, getting to Todoroki, as Todoroki basically shot another blast of ice at Bakugo, but Bakugo used explosions to dodge it and hit him with another explosion. And when Bakugo thought he hit him like basically head on or directly, Todoroki actually used ice to basically cushion his fall so he wouldn't get out of the and using more and more ice as Bakugo was getting more and more serious, as well as basically both of their bodies were hurting, as Todoroki, without using his fire, his ice is giving him frostbite, and Bakugo using powerful explosions over and over again, he begins to break his body. So this continues on, and basically Bakugo using his best explosion, as basically Todoroki was basically Todoroki basically was throwing ice at Bakugo, and Bakugo said, if you're not gonna use full power on me against me, then I'm just gonna have to win, and then I'm just gonna win. And basically Todoroki gets angry about this so much, in that he's losing to Bakugo, so he knows like that he's not gonna win this fight unless he goes full power. So he uses his fire side and blasts Bakugo with both his as he basically Bakugo is throwing his House of Impact, and basically Todoroki, basically he was using his fire and ice at the same time, as he was basically he was basically using like his fire and his ice, like freezing the ground, so Bakugo can't really move out of the way, and Bakugo using the explosions at Todoroki, and they almost collide if it wasn't for Al making a transmutation circle, and basically using the concrete that was around the arena to basically stop the fight, and it was declared that it's a tie, and Todoroki and Bakugo won first place. So basically now Todoroki won first place. Second place is Dark Shadow. Third place is Ida. However, because second place would be Dark Shadow, and the third place would be Ida. However, would check up on his brother, so he was gonna get the medal when he came back. or when he came back in class. So now we skip to basically Deku winning and catching up to Ida to tell him the news. So basically Deku said, Ida, that's your name, right? I heard that your brother, I heard that your brother died. I know that your brother died, and he's not injured, he's just dead. But you have to you have to let them go. You have to let him go. Revenge won't do anything, and you just have to let them go. And Deku says this genuinely, and Ida says, "What would you know?" And he's just clouded by revenge and hatred that he won't stop to consider what Deku said until later. So he then ran off, and wanting revenge. So now it's the basically internships. However, Deku and Al are not a part of UA, so they just take a break. They basically just take a break, and basically they were basically having a chat with Colonel Mustang, and Mustang told them if he wanted to learn fire alchemy. They Deku basically replied with a yes, and they learned the transmutation, or transmutation for fire. Fire. Yeah, basically, then it's not that perfect. It's like they basically they don't really know how to use it to its full extent, because they can't use it to its full extent. So because they're not really experienced with it, so they can't really control a lot of it. So basically Deku learns about fire alchemy, and Al learns about fire alchemy too. So and Deku was basically thinking about the transmutation for ice alchemy, or water alchemy, and he was thinking about how to do it. So basically then he remembers about the the gate to the truth, and remembered about stuff in there, and he knows about the ice alchemy because he saw everything. He saw the truth of quirks. He saw everything, right? So he saw everything. His brain couldn't handle it, like I said in the first part. So now Deku remembers. He has a flashback to what he saw in the truth. He saw the transmutation circle for ice alchemy, and he basically he remembers about it, and he basically writes the alchemy down on it, writes the transmutation alchemy down on a circle, and he tests it out outside, and it basically makes a little basically shoots out water. He basically thinks about how he's gonna do it, and basically he remembers that there's air or oxygen in the molecules in the air. So if you just convert those molecules, you could basically make water. And he knows, he remembers this because you have to have a knowledge of everything, of science and physics, to learn alchemy. So he does this, and he's able to shoot out water, and he thinks that maybe in the future he could learn to shoot out ice. To convert more, or convert more of the water, to convert the water into ice and then use it. So he's thinking about how he could do this, and he's thinking about training more, but he gets the basics down, He has like 7 days or so to get the basics down of ice, and he semi-mastered fire. What I mean by semi-mastered fire, he hasn't gotten any of the experience from using it at all yet because he hasn't fought anybody yet. With fire alchemy, he basically has like no, basically he has been training with it with dummies and Colonel Mustang. So I've been teaching him ways to use it. So he's gotten like ways to use it down. He just doesn't have any experience, which is why I said semi-mastered. So they take a trip to Hosu City, and basically they're in the airplane as basically the Nomu attack the airplane, and basically you know basically Deku and Al both, Deku and Al both use alchemy to basically, make a landing for the airplane because, there's like lots of buildings around the area which they could use alchemy with, or, use concrete and, iron with. So they make a landing for the airplane, and basically, Deku uses flame alchemy to set the Nomu on fire, stunning it, and then he basically uses the remaining area of the building to make a cage for the Nomu. Well, no, he basically uses the remaining, like the remaining area of the building to some of the area of the building to make a spear, and he basically stabs the Nomu in the chest. Stabs the Nomu in the brain, and the Nomu falls as the flying Nomu is dead, as basically Deku and Al both lift off the airplane with the citizens going down the stairs of the building that they were on. Al and Deku made a landing for the airplane. So Deku and Al sees fire everywhere in Hosu City and sees these creatures. Deku thinks it's the same creatures from last time. Al, I have a feeling that that guy from that class 1A Ida is gonna do something rash. His brother died from the hero killer, and basically Deku then basically he jumps from building to building, telling Al to basically help the other citizens escape and fight the Nomus. And Al basically said, "Okay, brother, I'll try." And basically Deku jumps from building to building, finding Ida. So we're gonna say that Deku basically has you gotta say that the hero killer is basically he kills some alchemists, but because quirks are there, there's not as many alchemists, so he kills a lot of heroes and alchemists here and there. And that as he sees Ida about to die, Deku jumps down from the building that he was on, and he basically claps his hands down. Basically, before he jumped down on the building, he basically, used a part of the building to basically kind of make a slide, or something to slide down on, and he was sliding down, just staying as claps his hands as lightning. I mean, not lightning, but lights begin to surround it, and he basically uses his left hand to touch his automail, and a blade comes out from it. As he's sliding down, he tries to stab Stain. However, Stain's agility. He dodges it with no problem really. And then Deku smirks and says, "Do you think you could just go around and kill people who's done nothing wrong? I'll show you, murderer. You won't kill on my watch." As Deku points his blade at Stain, ready for a battle.
As Izuku gets ready to fight, he notices strange markings all over Stain's left arm. Deku paid no mind to it though, and decided just to rush in, shouting that you won't murder any more people. As then Stain would see a blade coming right to his face, as he just ducks under it, Stain kicking Deku back. Deku then decides to use more alchemy, as he claps his hands together, putting them to the ground. This then shaping the ground and making hands come right out of the ground, trying to grab Stain. Stain knows that this is alchemy, and as he's not a big fan of alchemists, actually hates them as much as heroes, he shouts, "You damn alchemist," as he starts to use destruction alchemy. Then he destroys all of the hands coming at him, then rushes right at Deku. Deku's just dodging his hand, thinking that he must have some kind of enhancement quirk. As he's doing this, he sees weird symbols all over his arm. These symbols looked lots like the symbols that he used to use, or stuff that Full Metal Alchemists use. He then thought that it must be some kind of alchemy, maybe. Then him asking Stain, but in more of a very angry tone, asks Stain, what type of alchemy is that? As Stain just ignores that, as he charges up destruction alchemy and charges at Deku once more. Deku, wanting an answer, turns his hand into a blade again, as he starts running forward to fight Stain, dodging Stain's hand and Stain dodging his sword. Then Stain bringing out a dagger, stabbing it right into Deku's shoulder. But as soon as he does this, he finds a massive dent in his blade as he just takes it out. Deku says it's pretty, damn, this is awesome, male. As Stain realizes that his shoulder is also covered in automail. Stain, scoffing and then running right at Deku once more, but this time throwing daggers at Deku. Deku creating a wall and then looking at Ida, paralyzed to the ground with a blade in his shoulder. Deku instantly just runs to Ida, grabs the blade out of his shoulder. He then looks at the other hero and asks if he can get Ida out of here. The other hero, who is still paralyzed, says that guy has some kind of paralyzing quirk. Then Deku asks what he did to paralyze him. As soon as he says this, Stain comes rushing at Deku after he destroyed the wall with destruction alchemy. Deku was a little off-guarded, so he didn't have enough time to react. Then, a girl comes running around the corner. As she throws a kunai right at his arm, at Stain's arm. They both look over to where this kunai came from. It was from a girl that looked exactly like this. As soon as this happens, he says, "Are you another alchemist or a hero?" As she just runs over, ignoring that statement, and then just asking what happened here. Deku just asking who she was, as Stain, who was still a bit close, brought out a dagger and threw it right at the girl. Deku grabbing the knife and throwing it right at Stain. Her asking what's he doing, is he trying to kill him? And Izuku saying, well, I would rather not, but if he's making me. As Stain hears this, he says, I'm definitely gonna make you. And I'm gonna kill you, though. Licking his lips with a long-ass tongue. This girl then, asks if she can help him. Deku, as she sees his, his jacket, as, she recognized it as a full metal alchemist, as he's not wearing his iconic red, as he was told to when he's either patrolling the streets or something, to always wear a full metal alchemist jacket. Deku doesn't like it, but he has to wear it, and yeah. Anyway, I just want to explain that. Anyway, when they, as he says yes, she gets ready to fight. Her then throwing tons of kunai behind Stain. Stain saying, you've got a lousy shot. Then she makes a weird mark in the dirt. Her then, asking Deku to back him up. Deku, didn't understand, but shrugged his shoulders and then started to attack Stain, as Stain just jumped back. As soon as he did this, the girl, clapped her hands together, as then all the kunai behind Stain made a weird circle, much like a transmutation circle, as then exploded, on Stain. Stain then rolled onto the ground, getting back up before Deku could do anything. Deku instead then clapped his hands and created 2 more walls and said that we have to get out of here. As soon as he did this, Stain jumped over the walls as they weren't that high. Deku was like, damn it, as she was wondering how he's doing any of this without a transmutation circle, but she just shrugs it off for now, and then says that he's right up there. Deku says, yeah, I can see that. As he gets ready to fight again, Stain then says to her that she is a true hero. Then her asking what does he mean, as Stain just says that she jumped in to fight even though she didn't have to. As she says, well, it's just a normal person reaction, I guess. A bit off guarded by this. Stain then goes, yeah, well, it's still heroic. As then he looks at the full metal alchemist and says, I won't kill you, girl, but him, he's gotta die. He's a big alchemist. He's one that doesn't use a transmutation circle. And then he just jumps down and says, he's the full metal alchemist. Grabbing one last blade, that was more like a machete, and runs right at Deku. Deku just grabbing a glove from his side and says, let's see if you can kill me. As he says this, he clicks his finger and uses fire alchemy. This was a black glove with a transmutation circle for fire alchemy. And he makes a massive flame come at Stain. Stain is now writhing agony, screaming, I'll kill you, using some, unleashing some bloodlust, actually making both of the girl and Deku, go back a little. As this is happening, the hero had finally got out of the paralysis, same with Ida. Ida then looking at Stain and saying, you killed my brother and now I will kill you. Still blinded by tons of revenge and hatred. Deku then just saying, you can't be serious, kid. As this happens, he looks at him and says, what do you know? You've never lost someone, have you? As he then uses his reciprocal burst and tries to kick Ida. Deku, then getting out of his fighting stance, and grabs Ida before he can do anything, and says, "You moron, you can't beat him," as he chucks him to the hero and says to the hero to get out of here. The hero nods and he just runs off. Then him saying he's not really that big of a hero, is he? With a bit of a grin on his face, but still in tons of pain from the fire alchemy that has now stopped. Then Deku says if you want more of douses of flames, then I can help you with that. As he starts to make fire come from his hand, as Stain gets ready to fight again, as the girl then says that they can't fight anymore, that there's massive noises coming from the town, from the city. Deku saying that doesn't matter right now, I've already got my brother on it. As then she says, your brother? As then Deku just claps his hands, puts him down, as he makes a pillar come out of the ground, Stain dodging as he just walks on the pillar, running towards Deku, as he also charges up some destruction alchemy as a double attack. He then swings the machete at Deku, blocking with his automatic arm. Deku then grabbing the arm that was about to, with the destruction alchemy, then analysing all of the marks. Then him getting kicked in the gut by Stain, as Stain then does some weird movements with his boot, as two blades come out. One blade was in a weird hexagonal pattern, and the other one was as straight as an arrow. Deku says there's some weird blades you've got there. As Stain says, who cares? As he stabs the one with a hexagonal pattern into the automatic arm, and the one that was straight stabbed it right into Deku's upper arm. Deku then gasped a bit, but then looked at Stain with a determined look and says, "You're not gonna beat me, you know." As his arm had already been turned into a blade by that point. As then he just moves overpowered Stain's arm and pretty much cut all through his right arm. Then he grabs the one with all the tattoos and symbols on it and just slices open all of the arm, saying, let's see if you can use it for this. Then he goes again to cut off Stain's arm now. Stain grabbing it back, but still being cut by the attack very deeply. Him not being able to move his left arm, and his right arm barely being functional, as it was still stabbed by Deku. Then the girl just jumps over Deku and smack and axe kicks Stain into the ground. Stain being able to gain consciousness, barely being able to regain consciousness, and stands up. Then both thinking this guy's stubborn. As they both just run at him, Stain jumps up, hops on the walls, and just runs. They both stop, and Deku then thinks, what do I do now? Deku then just clapping his hands on the ground, making a wall going up, and saying, are you coming? Her saying that he's probably already ahead of us by now. And then Deku saying, yes. As he just comes down and is a bit woozy and collapses. The girl then tries to get give him medical treatment, as she is someone who knows alchemy. So yes, she's someone who will know alchemy. And in the next video, I'm pretty sure we'll tell her her name. Anyway, I honestly want to finish off my part right now. This, I don't want to explain. Anyway, I will see you all next time with Hacker. So yeah, see you in part 3, guys. Bye.